Angel Ram, but my real last name is Ramjan. One of the things that I love to do is singing. I have 3 wonderful kids who are now in the Philippines. Their names are Jana, Alicia, and NJ. I started singing at the age of like 5 years old. I had my first TV performance at a local place in the Philippines. It's in Zamboanga. And after that, since my father had a restaurant and we run a restaurant before, that's when I got my very first exposure, or like somewhat a small show they put up for me. Since then I started singing. Until now I never stopped singing. Maybe the only time that I stopped singing was when I got married. I didn't go to have any shows because I was just singing for my kids. Honestly, my husband didn't really want me to like sing. I just couldn't get it out of my genes. So from time to time, I just sing. I just sing for my kids. I sing for myself. It was tough. It was tough not to go in the limelight since I'm so used to it. And I really loved it since, of course, my family's all in music. My father's a percussionist. My mom's a singer. My brother is a drummer. So all of us are just like so into music. When my 10-year marriage ended, that's when I like started to realize again that the only diversion that I have is singing. The biggest challenge that I experienced was being apart from my kids. That's the most challenging part because I had to be away. And being away from them for almost 5 years now is pretty tough. I just wish I could like get back and just spend time with them. I just miss all those times. But in God's due time, I guess, God willing, every single show is for them. I somehow want them to be proud of me. I think that's my main goal. My children and my family to be proud of me. Oh yes, that was one of the most awesome and amazing feeling that I had, being awarded by PACAL as female performing arts, for female performing arts. And that award pushed me even more to do my best. I really don't have like a definite genre that I want. I always have that feeling that if I hear a certain song, if I want it, I'll sing it. But most of it, I just love classic songs. So if I don't sing, I work. I do have some fun times, yeah. Once in a while, I guess. But the thing that I miss doing, which I wish I could do one of these days, and just go to the park and just relax, and maybe, you know, listen to some songs or listen to somebody else singing rather than me singing. I love writing poetries and stuff, so I just feel like going back to that right now. Everything that I'm doing, I'm always thinking of my kids. It's just them. Singing, working, whatever I do, it's just them. So if I'm gonna write a poem or write a song, it's gonna be about them, us, family. Yeah. Oh my God. I say this every day and I'll say it over and over again. I miss you so much. And I love you to bits. And I wish to see you soon. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I wish to see you soon. Behave, be good girls and a good boy. Mommy loves you so much. Ina loves you so much. I'll see you very soon. When I first came here, I actually didn't have the place to stay. So when I was like, as soon as I jumped out of the plane, I started calling friends who I know were here. And everyone was like, I'm not here, I'm in Miami. The other one, I'm not here, I'm here, I'm somewhere else. So I'm like, where am I gonna stay? So I ended up carrying all my baggage and my bag. I went to Starbucks and I'm like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? Where am I gonna go? So it was like late night and the Starbucks is closing and I was like, where am I gonna go? And I was bringing my baggage with me. And people would like ask me, they're like, ma'am, are you lost? Do you need help? So I'm gonna be like, no, I'm okay, I'm waiting for somebody. Even though there's no one around, I would tell them, no, I'm waiting for somebody, they're gonna come. I had to stay on Subway for a day because I didn't know where to go. I tried to look for like Wi-Fi for my phone, just to look up on Facebook who I can message or whatever. Around very early morning, I received this message and an address. It was somewhere in Jamaica. They told me to come by and, you know, stay with us for a while until you find your own place and a job. So I'm just so grateful that, well, I think everyone knows what they should do. Never stop believing in yourself. If you love what you're doing and your passion is singing, keep on doing it. One word. Strong. I always tell myself to stay strong. This is like a reminder that my struggle, every struggle that I've been through, I should always remember to stay strong, not just for myself, but it's also for my family and my children. At last, my love has come along. My lonely days are over. And life is like a song. I think that's enough. I have a very husky voice today.
Hello, my name is Marc Montfleury. I'm a singer, songwriter, multi-instrumentalist from Queens, New York. My family actually originally came from Haiti. My mother was actually an Olympic hopeful for soccer. My father was a police officer. I guess I'm the one that actually wound up following the dream. So the talent really came down to me, and I just started using it. As far as singing, this was something I used to do as a kid all the time. I remember being in Haiti, living in Haiti, and as like right now you can hear the drums in the background. This is what I used to hear when I was a child. The grown men, the old men in the tents playing their drums, and that was really my first introduction into wanting to have anything to do with music. The one that I actually started with was the drum, the hand drum. I always wanted to be a drummer. The guitar I got when I was about 9 years old. We were in the Americas, and my mother bought me a guitar, I guess to keep me out of trouble. I think the first one, I made a mess of it. I put holes in it and took the strings out and everything. I just, like, what is this thing? You know, it doesn't make enough noise. But then a friend of mine put it back together and started teaching me chords, and all of a sudden, it just started coming naturally to me. I never took lessons or anything like that. It just seemed like what my fingers wanted to do. Poetry actually struck me at an early age too. I'm an avid reader, and one of my favorite poets / authors is the incomparable Edgar Allan Poe. So one of the first poems I ever read from him was, you know, the Raven and all of these like melancholy words put together to kind of explain this man's situation, which later on in life I realized that he was really depressed and he was going through a lot. That was my first introduction into poetry, and actually I would take like Annabelle Lee, which was one of his poems, I would take that poem and I would try to put it to music and try to sing it. And then after a while, the worlds of poetry and music kind of melted together. Poetry and music are basically the same language. It just really depends what you put to it, you know? When you're doing poetry and you're speaking, you're really relying on just your voice or whatever you're saying to hit the crowd. With music, you can take those words and give them a life of their own with the music behind it. Yeah, and I love it too, so why don't we blast holes through our skin, leave some scar tissue tonight. Jim Morrison, yeah, definitely from the Doors. I would say he was definitely like my idol. I believed he was doing exactly what was happening in my head. He was taking poetry and songs and, you know, kind of commercial type, you know, music with his band and putting all together into something that was completely different. Ooh, open mic. The experience with that is wonderful, I think, because you get to see a bunch of different artists in the rawest form possible, because half of them probably have never been in front of people before, and the other half may have, but they're testing out their material in front of a new crowd, sometimes every night. I think it's a great opportunity to practice. It's also a great opportunity to work with other people and get some collaborations going. And thirdly, it's great for fan building. I just finished actually 2 works. I finished one at the end of the summer, which was really just a reaction to a bad summer. So it's like 8 songs, but you know, truthfully, the response to it was really good. People really liked it. I'm currently just wrapping up another project, which is called A Bag of Shadows. This is more on a hip-hop poetry note, and so we're putting out the album, try to get some radio play, and gonna get a video done and see what happens. It's a tough balance because, so you're doing your 9 to 5, you get home, you're too tired to work on your art. I had to consciously tell myself, okay, I'm gonna go to this job and I'm gonna make things beautiful for them. So I need to do the same thing when I get home for myself. And it was a battle, it took a long time, you have to carve out time for yourself, but that's the only way that I could do it. It's just telling myself over and over again that I need to do this. Spare time, I spend most of that time in love. And yeah, that's what it is. You know, I have a wonderful girlfriend, and she makes my life great. So the time when I'm not, you know, out there trying to make our life better by doing this, you know, I'm trying to make those moments better with her. I think as I've gotten a little bit older, it's gotten me more in touch with the parts of me that actually are capable of showing love and emotion and affection to somebody and being vulnerable without, you know, without it being like a knife or something in my ego. You know, I believe that I have all the tools that it takes to get me where I need to go. All I really need is just to keep doing it and make sure I do the things that put me on a platform for somebody to see me. I'm not really looking for like record deals or anything like that. It's a new day. Like, you don't need any of that anymore. You just need to keep going and find the people. And I think that the people like me. I would tell any artist that's coming out right now or trying to get their work out there, first of all, this is art, but it's also a business. You need to treat it like a business every single day. Keep doing it, don't stop. You'll get where you want to go. It might take some time, but it's inevitable.
This is a shirt. I'm just screen printing one of my first prints on this. I use water-based ink. I like the way the fabric absorbs that ink better than non-water-based ink. And it's easy because then you can just wash it off and reuse it. And the ink is actually eco-friendly. My name's Christina. I'm an artist. I was born and raised in Flushing, Queens. I come from a family of creative people. My father builds houses, and my brother builds sets for Lincoln Center. And my mother crochets, she knits, she designs her own stationery. I would consider myself more of a fine artist because that's where I started. I'm primarily a painter, and the process kind of evolved into screen printing. I taught myself how to screen print from a kit, and then I started trying new methods of screen printing. I started stenciling on shirts and on fabric. I paint directly now on fabric as well. Sometimes it's a combination of screen printing and stenciling, or screen printing and painting. This is a stencil, and I hand painted this also, this particular shirt. This was a design I did after coming back from France a long time ago. Every design I do has some kind of story. I was looking for a way to be an artist and make money from being an artist, which is ultimately probably what every artist really wants, is to have a career and a job where you can live off of making your art. I'm exposed to so much art, and it's the art that I see every day that influences me the most. Yeah. Money would be the biggest challenge. You know, I started it with nothing. I started from a kit. So having it grow and develop, and I'm so fortunate that it has developed so much in the past 8 years. It's just reaching the point of big success where I can, you know, do this full time and achieve the type of freedom that I want. Living in Queens and starting this business here, I've had the opportunity to work with so many cool people, so many artists, local artists and writers and directors, and it's just been such a supportive community. I was on New York One. They were doing a piece on Queens, and it was very special to be acknowledged by my community where I live. It felt good. It felt, you know, like what I do is important in some way and special. I'm hoping I'm hoping to see people wear my clothing more. I'm hoping to see myself as a great success with my company, being able to do this full time, which is my dream, which is really what freedom is for me. I have a 9-to-5 job, a 9-to-6 job, so it's been a struggle. Ever since I started this about 8 years ago, it's been a struggle for that reason, trying to maintain a day job and do this, and it's just trying to balance the two has been a challenge, a big challenge. I don't have a machine. I thought about getting one of those big presses, but I usually work out of whatever apartment I'm in at the time, and I don't have room for that. It's big. It also takes away a little bit for me from the actual hands-on, really down and dirty printing, you know. So I've tried to avoid that, and I do it just on a table, you know, just by hand. Yeah, for now, that's what I'm doing, yeah. You know, I get single orders, and then I get a couple of piece orders, and then I get large orders. You know, I recently worked with the Hunters Point Conservancy, and they wanted me to make t-shirts for them. So that was a 400-piece order. So when something like that happens, I call my team, which is my friends, and they come over and we order pizza and we get some beers and we start printing. To do it in about a week and a half. If I do get any more big orders or orders bigger than that, I do have people, screen printers that I know that screen print by hand, and I can have them actually print them for me if it's a very, very large order, because they do it by hand as well, and then I do the finishing touches. Some prints I do multicolor. You know, and some stencils are multicolor also, like this one. This is my newest print, and this is very special to me. Over the summer, I went to Mexico. I traveled to Tulum, Mexico, on a whim, just for vacation. And, you know, I brought back some inspiration, and I did a Frida Kahlo print. Inspired by Mexico. But I didn't see anything too authentic when I was there that kind of linked her in a style, a more modern style. That's why I spray painted on the shirt also, to just give it that, that urban feel, that modern and urban feel, creative. You know, I'm always thinking creatively. Don't give up. You have to put in the work. You know, you have to put in the work. It might take a really long time. You might have to sacrifice things. You might have to sacrifice money. You might have to sacrifice vacations. You might have to sacrifice hanging out with your friends. But if you want to really do something, then you really have to do it. You have to sacrifice. You have to dedicate yourself and commit yourself to what you want to do, and you have to believe in yourself, most importantly. That's a wrap.
Hi, I'm Jed Merino. I'm a Queens-based artist. I'm originally from the Philippines. Welcome to Bliss and Bliss Studio. This is my art space. My mom and dad, in a way, inspired me in different ways to become an artist. My dad, because he was such a great storyteller, it inspired or triggered my imagination. My mom, on the other hand, started taking me to art classes when I was 4 years old. I think I started to get really serious about the arts when I met my would-be mentor back then, Manuel Rodriguez Jr. He was a printmaker. I eventually apprenticed with him. I learned to do printmaking. I came to New York in 1987. My intention was to be here only for a year. But midway through the year, I met a gallerist from Chicago through an art competition, and I won the competition, so she represented me in Chicago. I did my art for a long time, but at that time it still wasn't enough, so I had to work, get a 9-to-5 job. I worked at this wonderful museum, the Metropolitan Museum of Art, and I ended up staying for 19.5 years. And I recently started thinking about my art career again, because during the time when I was working, I sort of started veering away from my art career. But sometime around 2006 or 2007, my gallery started selling some of my new paintings, and I got excited. I talked about this with my wife, and I decided to quit my job and to focus again on my career. I opened this art space as a venue, and I met a lot of artists and networked with them, and at the same time doing my art. I launched this space in 2011. So we invited some filmmakers, Love Diaz, writers, Jessica Hagedorn, and other artists for a month-long gathering. And so we did this whole long festival, and that's our official launch. So we've been doing monthly exhibits. We're very cross-cultural. We're open to the interaction, the community. We love the exchange of ideas. So we meet a lot of different artists from Peru, Argentina. We do a lot of visiting artist series also. Now, we started with the community. In 2013, I met this gallerist in Manila who owned the Drawing Room, is the name of the gallery. It's a really good gallery. I've always wanted to be part of that gallery. And so I sent in a proposal, and in 2014, he exhibited me. He gave me my first show back there. So he asked me if I would be interested in participating at the Beijing Art Fair in October. So of course I grabbed the opportunity. I was really excited. So he took me to Beijing, and it turned out to be one of the most selfie booths. Actually, everybody came in. I had soldiers and kids coming and posing with my soft sculptures, my mannequins, and everybody walking in. It was just a fun experience to see how people enjoyed my works. It was very positive. I'm really thrilled that I got to experience that. Found Out Rebound, well, about last April or about February, March, I got this email from from a group down at the Lower East Side, Fab New York, and they were inviting me to do they're big on repurposing, recycling. And I thought about it, and I said, I sent in a proposal. I said, well, why don't we ask the participants to bring in wearable shoes, whether it's new or old, to bring them in pairs, and we collect a lot of scrap fabrics. I'll show them what I do, but they can do whatever they want to do. So this is sort of what the participants did. They did their own binding. This is, of course, in pairs. So that's sort of my project. It's called Found Bound Rebound, and the idea is, my goal is to collect 1,000 pair of shoes to be part of my exhibit. After the exhibit, we unbind the shoes and they get donated to typhoon victims. My alumni from the Union High School of Manila, batch 76, and I want to say that, is doing their grand reunion, Ruby 16. And they're dedicating a portion of their 3-day reunion to bringing in shoes and binding them. So I thought that was fantastic. When I do my work, I'm walking my dog, Barnaby. Actually, he rules. Barnaby's a basset hound, and he actually is on face to face. I would say for the most part, I'm really just working here. I love listening to music, so that's what I do. But while working, but that's pretty much really it. I didn't want to change the name Bliss. I like the name Bliss, so I called it Bliss and Bliss Studio. We're actually switching over to Bliss and Bliss Art Projects. Bliss and Bliss Studio is my personal project, but what I do with the community, with the exhibits, and we're renaming it or moving it to the name Bliss and rebranding it to the name Bliss and Bliss Art Projects. I think inspiration comes out from doing it, from productivity, from discovery. So for people who sit down and wait and say, I'm gonna do my painting when I'm inspired, when it comes to me, it may never come. So you just have to keep doing it every day, and that's how you discover, and that's how you get inspired. This one I love. There's another one here, but I'm just so inspired by what people can do.